Okay, we're going to continue to look at the quadratic formula. We introduced this last time, and we've seen that the quadratic formula, which is given by x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, is a method of calculating roots, which is an alternative to factorising to calculate roots. But remember that the calculation of roots is when you've got a parabola, which is the graph of a quadratic expression, and you're finding where it cuts the x-axis. So when you solve a quadratic equation, either by factorising or by using the quadratic formula, that's the outcome, that's what you're actually doing. You're finding these bits here. Okay, so let's just continue on and look at some more examples, starting with an example 1. Okay, we're going to solve x squared minus 5x plus 1 equals 0 using the quadratic formula. Okay, first of all we need to identify a, b and c, because remember that we're thinking about this in terms of the thing being written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, so a being the coefficient, the thing that's attached to x squared, b being the coefficient, the thing that's attached to b, and c being the rest. Okay, so that means that a would be equal to, as we can see, a is 1. B, be careful, b is not 5, it's definitely minus 5. And c is equal to 1. Okay, it's then x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Remember that the quadratic formula will be given to you in the formula sheet. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. Right, let's start to plug things in. Wherever I see a, I'm going to replace it with 1. Wherever I see b, I'm going to replace it with minus 5, and wherever I see c, I'm going to replace it with 1. Okay, so x equals, well, b equals minus 5, b is minus 5, so minus b would be minus minus 5, which is plus 5, so just be careful with that. B equals minus 5, so minus b must be minus minus 5, which is 5, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac b squared. So b squared, well, b is minus 5, so it would be minus 5 squared. And since we're squaring a negative number, let's put in a bracket. And then it's minus 4 times a times c, so minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 1, divided by 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. Okay, x equals 5 plus or minus the square root of, well, let's just take our time with this. So minus 5 all squared is 25, and then it's minus 4 times 1 times 1, so minus 4 times 1 is minus 4, minus 4 times 1 is still minus 4, all divided by 2 times 1, well that's just 2. Okay, so that's now 5 plus or minus the square root of 25, take away 4 is 21, all divided by 2. Now for the first time, we're now starting to see a number in here which is not convenient in terms of it's not going to give us a whole number, but we can still work with it, and this would be a calculator equation. So it's time now to simplify this and split it into 2 parts. So I'm going to just give myself a bit of room up here, 5 plus or minus square root of 21 over 2, and split it into 2 bits. So first of all, it's going to be 5 plus root 21 over 2, and then 5 minus root 21 over 2. So 5 plus root 21 over 2, and then 5 minus root 21 over 2. And at this point you can let the calculator do the hard work, so just punch that into the calculator. Okay, now if the calculator then gives you a result in a fraction, just hit the SD button in the calculator if that happens, and that'll change it to a decimal fraction. And to one decimal place, let's go 4.8. Okay, and then try the second one, and to one decimal place, that will give me 0.21. Again, just keep in mind this has got a meaning. And what does it mean? It means that you've got, well, it was a positive x squared, so it's a concave down parabola. This means that you've got a root at these kind of awkward positions, but nonetheless roots at approximately 0.21 and approximately 4.8. Okay, let's try an example 3. Okay, example 3. And we're going to solve this one using the quadratic formula. X squared minus 7x plus 4 equals 0. Okay, let's identify A, B and C. Well, A is definitely 1, B is minus 7, and C is plus 4. Let's write down the quadratic formula, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Remember, this formula is given to you in your formula sheet in the examination. Okay, so where I see a, I'll replace it with 1, where I see b, I'll replace it with minus 7, and where I'll see c, I'll replace it with 4, so it's just straight substitution. Okay. Now b is minus 7, so minus b would be minus 7, which is plus 7, plus or minus the square root of b squared. Well, that's going to be minus 7 squared minus 4 times a times c, so that's minus 4 times 1 times 4. All divided by 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. Okay, let's tidy up what's inside. Okay, so minus 7 squared. So minus 7 squared is 49. Notice I'm not using a calculator at this point because it's not required, and I shouldn't rely on one if it's not required. And then it will be minus 4 times 1 times 4. So minus 4 times 1 is minus 4. Minus 4 times 4 is minus 16. All divided by 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay, so x equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 49 take away 16. So that will be 33 divided by 2. It's now time to split this thing up into x equals 7 plus root 33 over 2 and 7 minus root 33 over 2. Okay, and let's punch it into the calculator. Okay, one decimal place, that will give me 6.4, and for the second one, that will be 0.6, final answer. Okay, let's try an example 3. We're going to solve x squared plus 2x minus 9 equals 0, and we're going to use the quadratic formula again. Okay, so a is 1, b is 2, c is not 9 but minus 9 equals 1, b equals 2, c equals minus 9. Let's get the quadratic formula down. Make sure that you quote it correctly every single time, otherwise you won't get the correct result. So it's minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Okay, so quick reminder, where I see a, replace it with 1, where I see b, replace it with 2, and where I see c, replace it with minus 9. So this next part is straight substitution. Okay, b is 2, so minus b will be minus 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so it's going to be 2 squared minus 4 times a times c, so it's minus 4 times 1 times minus 9. Let's just be careful of that. Minus 4 times 1 times minus 9. Let's put that in a bracket. All divided by 2 times a, 2 times 1. Okay, and in example 4, we're going to solve 3x squared plus 8x plus 5 equals 0. Now for the first time we're looking at an equation which doesn't start with a 1x squared. So a equals 3, b equals 8, c equals 5. Okay, and this stuff definitely lends itself to doing plenty of examples. Okay, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Okay, so where I see a, I'll replace it with 3, where I see b, I'll replace it with 8, and where I see c, I'll replace it with 5. b is 8, so minus b must be minus 8 plus or minus the square root of b squared. Okay, so that's 8 squared minus 4 times a times c, so minus 4 times a times c is minus 4 times 3 times c, which is 5, minus 4 times 3 times 5, all divided by 2 times a, so that is 2 times 3. Okay, x equals minus a plus or minus the square root of, okay, 8 squared without a calculator, that's easy, that's 64, and don't rely on a calculator here, and neither with this bit as well. So you can minus 4 times 3 times 5, let's just take our time and do one thing at a time. So minus 4 times 3 is minus 12, minus 12 times 5, well, 12 5s are 60, so that must be minus 60, all divided by 2 3s are 6. Okay, 64 take away 60 is 4, all divided by 6. Okay, so this is really looking like it's turned into a non-calculator question, because the square root of 4, I can easily get rid of that. It's just 2 divided by 6, and now I'm going to split the thing up into x equals minus 8 plus 2 over 6 and minus 8 minus 2 over 6. Okay, just take your time. Minus 8 plus 2, we get minus 8 plus 2 is minus 6, and then minus 6 divided by 6 is just minus 1. And for this one, we've got minus 8 minus 2. Minus 8 minus 2 is minus 10. Minus 10 divided by 6. Well, let's just leave that as a fraction, but simplify it, and that would be minus 5 over 3. So again, what does that mean? That means that we've got a root at minus 1 and a root at minus 5 over 3, which is a number which is just slightly more than minus 2. Okay, let's try this example 5. Using the quadratic formula, we're going to solve 4x squared minus 4x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, identify a, b and c. A is 4, b is minus 4, c is minus 3. Quadratic formula. Make sure you quote it right. It will be given to you in the formula sheet in the examination. Make sure you quote it precisely. Minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Okay, where we see a, we're going to replace it with 4. Where we see b, replace it with minus 4. And c, we replace it with minus 3. Okay, b is minus 4, which means minus b be minus minus 4. That's plus 4. plus or minus the square root of b squared. Okay, b squared is going to be minus 4 squared. Let's wrap a bracket around it. Minus 4 times a times c, so that's 4 times 4 times minus 3. So minus 4 times 4 times minus 3. And let's wrap a bracket around any negatives that were involved in that, divided by 2 times a, 2 times 4. Okay, so x equals 4 plus or minus, just be careful with this, don't overcomplicate it, just take it one step at a time. Minus 4 squared is 16, square root of negative, you get a positive. No need for a calculator here, just take your time. Minus 4 times 4, minus 4 times 4 is minus 16. Minus 16 times minus 3, well, that'll give me a plus. And 16 times 3, go to your side if you need to, that will be 48 plus 48, all divided by 2 times 4, and that's it. Okay, so that's 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 plus 48 is 64, all divided by 8. Again, it's looking like a calculator wouldn't be required here. Square root of 64, that's 8, divided by 8. Okay, so I don't need the square root because it's the square root of 64, which was 8. Okay, so 4 plus or minus 8 over 8. Let's split the thing up now, and that will be x equals 4 plus 8 over 8. And 4 minus 8 over 8. Okay, so 4 plus 8 is 12, 12 divided by 8, and over here we've got 4 minus 8, which is minus 4 divided by 8. We can leave them as fractions, that's fine, but let's simplify those fractions. And for the first one, I can divide top and bottom by 4, and for the second one, top and bottom by 4 again. Okay, so that's going to give me 3 over 2 for the first root, and for the second root, minus 1/2.